Our next speaker is Jorge Fuenzalida, who is the Vice President and General Manager at InCode. And InCode is a strategy consulting division for Ericsson. And Jorge is a subject matter expert. He's had 20 years of experience in the telecom space, developing various wireless strategy, technologies, and solutions. At InCode, he's responsible for he is the general manager, responsible for sales, project delivery, practice management. He's done projects for wireless and wireline carriers, equipment manufacturers, cable MSOs, as well as private equity companies in the areas of wireless technology, corporate strategy, and wireless solutions. Most recently, Jorge has led projects in wireless broadband and 4G product development, spectrum strategy, RFID, and near-field communications, and corporate strategy. So, Jorge, why don't you come? He's going to talk to us about video, which is a terrific topic here.
It's great to be here again. I've come to the Wireless Technology Forum a number of times, and it's great to see familiar faces, former colleagues, current and former clients. It's a lot of fun. And I also have the pleasure of being on the panel with Rob, who I've known for 14 years. And I have to admit, he was funnier tonight than he's ever been. That was really, that was pretty impressive. So tonight we're going to talk about video, and video is the elephant in the room. I'm going to talk a bit about it from both a fixed line perspective, a wireless perspective, digital rights, advertising. We're going to sort of do a flyby on a few different topics, and it's going to tie into some of what the other speakers have said. Well, first of all, what's happening with video? Mobile devices are growing exponentially. Now we're talking about 5+ connected devices in each home, for certain families as that continues to grow. Tablets are now on their steep growth curve, expected to hit about 25 million installed in the US by the end of next year. Of course, faster networks. There's fiber to the home. There's all the different iterations of DOCSIS and other fixed line technologies. But of course, with LTE, now we're tracking towards close to 75% penetration by the end of next year. So that's another key enabler. With regards to content delivery, I think mirroring some of Rob's points, 86% of mobile users use their smartphones while watching TV. There's another concurrent use type statistic. And about 14% of tablet time is spent enjoying video, TV, or other content. So you can start looking at the tablet as the mobile video device. And finally, what about linear versus non-linear? And linear video is defined as traditional TV or cable, so you're watching it in the same time that you normally would enjoy it. Non-linear would include DVR, it includes on-demand, and includes all the other over-the-top type services. So 52 million US households are watching internet or video-on-demand type shows. I think Rob touched on sort of who's doing more of that. Household TV penetration has dropped to 96%. And you say 96 is still high. It was 98. So all of a sudden, we just lost 2% in 1 year. Pretty interesting stuff. With regards to consumption, on the left side of this chart, I've got sort of what's going on inside the home. And overall viewing is staying fairly consistent, growing slightly each year. Of course, the growth in some of the over-the-top models is happening. It's mostly Netflix still. Of course, there's Hulu and YouTube, but those are the big gorillas. But you'd be surprised. The linear model, as well as some of the other offers from the classic providers, is still holding on fairly strong, despite a lot of the momentum that you've seen in some of the other over-the-top providers. With regards to mobile video, so mobile video is that video consumed on a handheld device. 75% of it is actually consumed inside the home. So that's an interesting observation with regards to where it's all happening. Now, away from home, the average smartphone is now over 400 megs per month, probably increasing since we entered the room. And what's happening on it? And you can see at this point about 22% of that of the time that people are using a smartphone is now on sort of media-oriented type activities, either video/music or also on browsing, and that's expected to increase. Well, what's happening with mobile video? Those of you that have been in the industry for a few years remember all the push around mobile TV around sort of the 05 to 08 timeframe. And in fact, I was looking at some of the old reports to prepare for tonight, and there were people that were absolutely saying, the killer app for video on a smartphone will be linear TV. It won't be this other stuff, this time shifted, place shifted, and it will be TV. I also heard, actually I'm going to steal it from Andre when we had breakfast last week, Andre, and I don't know who you're referencing, but the original idea of the internet was a TV, channels and dialing up. It's what we're familiar with. And the point is, the internet didn't evolve into TV. It's something fairly different. Video, mobile video is not going to be linear TV. You can see that there's still some hockey sticks associated with it, but when you look at studies with regards to younger population, especially, and as well as some of the other demographics, mobile is very much tied to, I want to snack on video, or I want to see what I want to see, and it's very customized, it's very individual, and it probably won't be sort of your classic linear TV type model. In terms of, in general, non-linear type video and where that's occurring, I noticed a study with regards to what's happening in Europe as well, and it's fairly consistent with the US. But over the next sort of 3 to 4 years, about 75% of the video consumed in the home will still be of the linear format. So you can see that the TV and some of the ways that we enjoy video is not changing that quickly. But then when you look at, I'm sorry, I got it backwards, but 85%, it's the inverse of 15, whereas with regards to more mobile devices, it's about 75% of the video that'll be consumed will be more non-linear. With regards to over-the-top and what's happening there, of course, on the left side, you see the traditional value chain from content owners, content aggregators, service providers. When you add it all up, it's close to $400 billion. So it is a massive industry as we know it. Currently, the size of the over-the-top industry is very small compared to it, about $5 billion. Most of the revenue is tied up with Netflix. The folks on the left side have seen what's happened to music and won't let it happen to them again. And I think there's some very smart people within the content owner area that certainly understand that they need to get their product distributed into more devices as these shifts are occurring. So they're working constructively with the cable companies and with the ILECs that are big into video to make that work out. At the same time, they can't trust that single channel is going to be the one. So they're proceeding fairly cautiously, but I think you're now going to see in 2012 much more activity. So just yesterday, Sony announced that they are preparing to launch, frankly, a competitive offer to cable. They're talking to other media companies to, in effect, get their TV programming onto this channel. It's internet-oriented, and it'll be exclusive on Sony devices. So Sony is certainly not quite the formidable company that it was a number of years ago, but they do have some of that vertical integration, and you'll see that as sort of a major test as to where this is all heading. And the two big elephants in the room that haven't really moved in with any degree of great success are, of course, Apple and Google, and we're all watching and waiting there. We were talking, I guess, earlier about Netflix, and of course, Netflix is the fun one to kick around with their stock going from $300 to 75. I think maybe it's about 90 right now. But at the same time, while Netflix has made some very poor strategic decisions, I think under the cover there's still a fairly loyal customer base with regards to Netflix. It does have its niche, and for folks that are looking at for the Hawaii Five-0 reruns, and I know my mom's a very loyal Netflix subscriber as well, and probably hasn't even heard that they're going through this PR nightmare. It is the leading over-the-top provider, and while some of their content is certainly getting more expensive, they don't have access to all the right content. It'll fill its niche. So I'm not writing their demise quite yet. With regards to licensing and DRM, this is one of the key struggles with the entire model at this point. If you own content, you certainly want to be able to monetize it all the way up and down the chain. This directly ties into cloud because as a buyer of content, you certainly want to buy once, enjoy many times. You want it to be on all your devices, automatically synced, and works well. Currently, none of those models exist in any very easy-to-use manner. So there's certainly a lot of consideration being given to different DRM paradigms, both with regards to the more traditional linear type approach where the licensing agrees are more around affiliate agreements, as well as the over-the-top players where it's more around rev share and some other innovative models that's going on there. But what's important in DRM? It's encryption and decryption, it's digital copy protection, and it's key management. And of course, these are, if you're looking at the VC perspective, certainly companies that are active in some of these enabling technologies are going to do pretty well. Next up is advertising, and Rob had the perfect setup for this, and that is the discrepancy between time spent, and you go back to some of the statistics from earlier, versus where are the ad dollars. I had the benefit of going to the Rutberg Wireless Influencers Conference last month out west, and on many panels, many times, everyone said the same thing that was said earlier, and that is, if Nielsen or somebody can figure out how to rate advertising and how to give advertisers the comfort that they are getting the right kind of return on investment, then this will unlock much of the activity in the marketplace. So it is a bit of a roadblock currently. The concurrent usage model is certainly a driver of it. So I think back to my days in college at University of Virginia. We had and Perry Walters in the room, he might remember this, that there was a major development back then around eye-gaze response technology, and it was really focused on handicapped individuals that couldn't move their arms. You could look at computer screens and interact just by looking. And why not deploy something like that within the home so you have your sensor and it knows exactly where you're looking? I mean, something like that might be what it takes to help get the more specifics around advertising. But we're all getting tracked. The information is getting populated into many databases, whether it's a mobile device, whether it's your location, whether it's your cookies, your web usage, and it's all getting assembled as we speak. So with that kind of information, then it can certainly tie into directed advertising. With regards to cable, we're now talking about true two-way type cable technologies to get you to react at that point of enjoyment, but certainly that kind of information can follow you into the store and be part of an overall mobile advertising type effort. So to conclude, I've got 3 summary predictions for 2012, and of course predicting for 2012 is sometimes harder than predicting even further out. But for 2012, home is still where the TV is. Linear programming, some over-the-top models, accompanied by your big 55-inch LCD, high-def TV. There's still certainly a lot of runway left this year, especially given, I think, the caution that a lot of folks are approaching the industry. But with that said, you're going to start seeing different devices being used for different things, and the tablet, to me, starts looking like your mobile video device, as well as many other things. Over the top is like a Twinkie. It tastes good, it satisfies you briefly, but it's not where it needs to go yet. Certainly the access to the relevant content will need to continue to occur. But over the long term, I'm very bullish on over-the-top models. You see where Sony's going. I heard some very eloquent speakers that own content that certainly want to make sure it's promoted in the right areas. And then, of course, what I didn't mention earlier is with TV everywhere and certainly some of the other initiatives from some of the more traditional telcos and cablecos, they're already internalizing it and promoting over-the-top internet-oriented plays as well, more as a retention strategy. And then finally, mobile video is very tied to non-linear, so sort of I guess contradicting my point slightly, is when you think about mobile, you think about mobile DVR, you think about on-demand type video, you think about customized, but you don't think about mobile TV. At least that's the way I'm viewing that, certainly for 2012. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Outstanding. Our next speaker is Khanna, who is a senior partner with McKinsey & Company.